Grant Cardone.
Amateur or professional? You want to be a professional? Step into my world. And let me unveil, not just in this segment, but all the segments of material we have here, the secrets of a professional seller and how you can become one. Look, even if selling isn't your primary career, you don't think of yourself like that. You're like a manager, an entrepreneur, CEO. You got to become a professional salesperson. You have to understand the whole cycle to get more out of that role, that job you have, or that hat you wear. I tell attendees in my money seminar, look, you want to get rich? One thing you will have to do, regardless of what you're doing, you have to learn how to sell if you want to get rich. You know, I became a professional, what I consider a professional salesperson at the age of 26. This was after I'd been selling for 3 or 4 or 5 years. But this was only after intense study on the subject and tremendous amounts of research. The hard work that I did, the investigation, the research, the surveying, the videoing, affected and impacted the rest of my life, and I had no idea at the time it would do that. You know, every business I have started since then, probably 5 different businesses, 2 of them were sold off. Every business I have started, every dollar I have ever personally earned, and all the great things that have happened in my life was a result of something that I learned about selling, negotiating, getting my way. Being motivated is a form of selling. You know, 3/4 of population Earth, 3/4 of it, has no clue that their success, the success they will experience in their life and in their career, depends solely on this thing called selling. If they don't know how to sell, if they don't even know that they're going to be affected by it or that it influences their career, they have no chance to be successful at it. See, while selling may not be that main occupation, you may be a hairdresser. Hopefully by now, from these other segments, you're convinced that selling is an essential to making your life come true, to making your dreams come true, to making them a reality. Because without successfully selling others, you're not going to make it happen. So let's describe or define professional. A professional is a person engaged in a specified activity as one's main paid occupation rather than a pastime. It is my experience that 99% of all so-called professional career salespeople have only a slight idea of what selling is, much less how to actually determine and predict results while selling. Now, what I just said is not meant to offend you in any way if you consider yourself a career professional. It's just my experience that most people that think they're professional salespeople don't really understand selling yet. I just want to inform you there might be another level. Look, if this does somehow offend you, just hang with the segments, because sometimes the truth is a little tough to hear. And these segments will put you in control of your profession at another level. And I would expect if you're watching this, even if you're being made to watch it, you want more in your life. So look, I want to put you in control of your customers, in control of your career. I want to put you in control of your income and how you can transform yourself into a master salesperson. The real pros, the real professionals, guys that really, really understand this is an art and literally see the mechanics in their mind. For the most part, those people don't even call themselves salespeople. They call themselves litigators, negotiators, moderators, business owners, inventors, politicians, coaches, fundraisers, agents, actors, entrepreneurs, financial planners. Hey, look, Benjamin Franklin, John Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Bill Gates, Martha Stewart. Just a handful of salespeople. Masters. So good at their trade, okay? So good that they don't even look like salespeople anymore. It looks like some woman talking about cookbooks. No. She's selling millions of dollars of products. Okay? Now, the amateur. The definition of amateur is one who engages in a pursuit, a study, a science, or a sport as a pastime rather than as a profession. Or amateur, someone lacking an experience and competence in an art or a science. So I'm going to ask you to define that today, okay? You're going to literally be asked, hey man, what's a professional and what's an amateur? You want to know the two distinct, different definitions between professional and amateur. I've met hundreds of thousands of salespeople in my seminars, at our school in Orlando, our school in Los Angeles, okay? I've met hundreds of thousands of salespeople over the last 25 years. Most, maybe they were motivated, okay? But most of them were amateurs and didn't really know the first basic thing about selling. Look, is selling just a pastime for you? No different than any other pastime like Xbox or playing poker or golf? In fact, do some of you actually enjoy golf more than you do selling? Do you lack experience and competence in this thing called selling? Are you not clear about what you're doing when you negotiate with people? Do you struggle to get your way, to get them to say yes? Do you struggle with objections? Do you struggle with arguments and having people turn on you and get all argumentative? Do you think there's no way you could ever possibly be a salesperson? Do you even have maybe a little disdain, bad feelings, bad taste in your mouth for this thing called selling? Do you hate rejection and even the idea of, oh my gosh, I got to go sell someone? If any of these things describe how you feel, or maybe something you've said before, and you in any way, shape, or form feel this way about selling, look, we got some work to do, okay? And I'm glad you're here. I can show you how to become a pro. I don't care about your personality. But you have to get clear on two things. Two things, okay? Not one thing. Two things. Selling is critical to your survival, as we've said in other segments. Critical. You need to get your spouse and your kids to understand selling is our survival. My book, Sell to Survive. CNN, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Fox TV, Fox Business, 600 radio shows covered that one book. If you haven't read it, get it. And make sure your spouse reads the book. And make sure your kids get on that book. Okay? Number one, selling is critical to your survival. And number two, decide to become a pro. Give up any ideas that this is not for you, and give up any ideas that you're going to be anything less than a professional. Give up the amateur. Give up the pastime, man. Commit. You have to decide that you want to start getting your way. Quit thinking it's up to the fate or the gods you're going to pray. Hey, man, God's got his hands full. He's not going to answer your prayers and give you a deal today, much less stability. It's up to you, and your very life and every dream depends on you becoming a professional. Okay? If you're not getting your way, then quit making the excuses and decide now to learn everything there is about becoming a professional, not an amateur.